Hey, how you doing there again, folks? Me again, of course, Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you, another offering off my sampler platter. Yes, indeed, folks, sampler review series of videos I've been doing for a little while. I go over there, try out food and drink items. I eat stuff, I drink stuff, then, folks. Oh, come on. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about the stuff. I'm gonna let you know all that you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff. That time I'm doing this, folks, I'm not gonna lie, we're getting a little bit spicy with this one. But how much remains to be seen. We'll get to that though. Folks, it's super simple format. I'm gonna go over there, I'm gonna try out food and or drink items for you. Whilst I'm doing so, I'm yammering on about it for a bit. Whilst I'm doing all that, I'm in my back room today, which means we get beer can Thunderbolt poster. And whilst I'm doing all that, folks, oh yeah, I'm wearing a super cool shirt. Folks, when I wear super cool shirts, I always like to highlight the super cool shirt. What super cool shirt am I wearing for you today, folks? It happens to be my Sumo Psycho shirt, which I've worn this one in a number of reviews before. I really like the design of this shirt. What is Sumo Psycho, though? They are kind of an alternative metal band. I think they're out of Canada, I want to say. I could be wrong on that, but I seem to recall at the very least, I think the lead singer is out of Canada. I was really fortunate. I actually had no idea who these folks were up until about a year ago. I went to go see a show, and they were one of the openers, and they were badass, man. I was just super into their set. Like, just the energy that they pumped out. You know, it brought me back to, like, my late teens, early 20s when I first started going to shows. It was fantastic, and they blew me away. I got some merch. I actually got some videos of their performance that I attended. They're on the channel as well, just in case maybe you want to check them out. If nothing else, folks, I'd be more than happy to kind of point you in the right direction as far as, just the cool stuff that they do goes. I think they're awesome. But anyway, what am I trying for you today, folks? What are we doing here? Why is it spicy? Well, folks, this one is, I try to keep kind of on, not ahead of the curb. I'm not quite that edgy, but, at least on point with the curb. This one actually came out some months ago, and I bought it some months ago. And it ended up at the back of my pantry. And I looked at it today, and it's like, I have about a month to get this out of the way before it expires, or at least, Best Buy. Folks, it happens to be, it jingles a little bit, it's Boom! It is new, kinda, Campbell's chunky soup that eats like a meal, ghost pepper chicken noodle soup. Whoosha! I guess. I do think it's funny that, the ghost pepper thing is still a thing, even though the ghost pepper hasn't been the hottest pepper in the world for like a decade now. The Carolina Reaper took its place, and then now we have Pepper X, which has gone even beyond that. But hey, man, I like some ghost pepper stuff. So let's get a thing for the thing. It looks like this. Ha 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 ha! And then I've also obviously got the soup itself over here. I thought about getting that in for the ah ha 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 part, but not a chance in hell, because it's too soupy. And you can kind of see what it looks like. There's no way I was going to get a good boom with that. But super simple, just pour it into a bowl, pop it in the microwave for I think like 3 minutes or something like that. Bob's your uncle. Bob's my uncle, never yours. So let's give it a go. Let's try to get, Campbell's is fine. It's kind of long since been dethroned as really being like a particularly great home soup, but let's see what they can do with some ghost pepper. Ooh! Shit, right away. Alright. Okay. You got me, Campbell's. Interesting fun fact. I literally just learned about this. Campbell's, they're getting rid of the soup part of their name because they're known as Campbell's Soup Company. Getting rid of the soup part. They're just going to be Campbell's, I guess. That's got some goodness to it. Now, the thing is, I'm surprised at how quickly I got the heat, because if you've ever had ghost pepper, I actually really like ghost peppers. The heat on them kind of grows. It's not like an immediate hit, but I guess in the context of this, since it's in a soup, it's like a much faster delivery system. So that was an immediate hit, and actually rather nice. Yeah. And then it goes to the back of your throat, and immediately you get that. It's like a radiating heat. One of the things I like about ghost peppers versus some other peppers, that are like super hot, like scorpion peppers. Scorpion peppers are very hot, but they're actively painful. It's not even heat; it's like a stinging sensation. With ghost pepper, it's just heat, but it obviously gets very hot. No, these are actually it's pretty nice for what it is. Even beyond just the heat, the flavor itself is pretty good. It's very sort of peppery, very well seasoned. Obviously, would be the best way to put it. It's interesting though. I'm not getting as much from the broth. I'm gonna try some more. Try some more with the chicken because it feels like I'm getting the heat from the chicken more than anything. Maybe. I don't know. I'm gonna say I think that the chicken, maybe they marinated the chicken, or maybe it's just maybe the chicken pieces have just been sitting that they've been absorbing. The like the flavoring and the ghost pepper and stuff. That is actually really tasty. Like I don't know when the last time I had Campbell soup was. It's been a while. Um, because again, I feel like they've sort of, you got like a more brands out there that have sort of they've just come out and oh, that one got me a little extra. But they've had brands that have come out since then. I feel like are just a little bit more impressive. And it's not to say that Campbell's hasn't, improved over the years. But I do think for a while, they definitely rested on their laurels until other soup companies came out and kind of like, hey, maybe we should have more stuff and, maybe we should, better flavors. Um, but honestly, this is like not even the heat aside. Like I like the taste of it. I mean, it's a little bit basic for what it is, but the flavors are there. And it actually works really well for me because a lot of times, if I'm making like some Maruchan or some, cup ramen or something like that. A lot of times I like to go over there and just add in my own, hot sauce or whatever to give it a little extra oomph. This kind of is reminiscent of that, except obviously it has like actual chicken and, Maruchan stuff has noodles, different type of noodles. You get what I'm saying. Um, but yeah, I actually really like this. I think it does a good job of it has some ghost pepper flavor. I won't say it has a lot. It's a more generalized pepper flavor, than being like distinctly ghost pepper. But in terms of the flavor and stuff, I actually like it. Two questions have to be asked. Would I get it again? Would I recommend it? Absolutely and kinda. For me personally, like I said, this hits because it already works for the type of stuff that I like. It's something that's super easy to put together. Um, I like the very bold flavors that it has. I like the level of heat that it has. Now, that is one thing I do have to mention. As you'll notice, I'm still talking. If this was like, this is one of those things you could look at it and say, okay, it's like one of those challenge things. It's just hot for the sake of being goofy. No, honestly, it's definitely way hotter than you're going to get from like the average can of soup. But honestly, for me, it's perfectly reasonable. Definitely got some kick to it. I imagine as you're eating the entire thing, but it's not unmanageable. And I think it's really good. I actually really like this a lot, and I definitely think I'll get it again. Now, if I'm recommending it, that's where it does get a little bit dicier because, of course, I like the level of heat. Not everybody's going to. It is. I'm somebody that personally, like I'm not like anything hardcore with the spicy stuff, but like I like spicy stuff, and I'm typically pretty good with it. Uh, it's not one of those things where I would recommend it to everybody because it is, it does have some bite to it. It does have some spice to it. So if you're somebody you're not into the spicy stuff, I don't know why you would get this anyway, but I would just, opt out. By that same token, though, if you're somebody who's expecting it to be extremely spicy, that almost comical level of spicy, it's not that. I've reviewed instant ramens on here, like the buldak and stuff like that. They're way, way spicier than this is. This, for all intents and purposes, is still a very eatable soup. It's not strictly a novelty, But it is on that end of the spectrum where I don't think that the average person is just going to immediately go for it. But maybe add it to something, or maybe add your own something to it. Find your love for it. But I do like it. 5 things before I get out of here. Have yourself a great rest of your day, spectacular rest of your week, monumental rest of your month, stupendous rest of your year, folks. Go have yourselves a truly. This was also my dinner-tastic rest of your life. Final 2 things. Number 1, try to bring some positivity into the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. But what do you do if you can't do it all the time? I know I can't do it all the time. Here's what you're going to do, folks. You're going to try not to be an asshole. Folks, not always the easiest thing in the world to not be an asshole. Trust me. I know it. I live it. I'm out there every day with you in it. Life can be stressful and frustrating and just bullshit sometimes, folks. And when we find ourselves in situations where we have to deal with said bullshit, it's important we go over there whenever possible. Take a step back, try to mitigate the level of assholishness in our lives, hopefully do better for ourselves and for those around us. Very final thing, folks, do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to go out and do. Folks, what's your personal threshold when it comes to spicy stuff? Are you more of a novice? Are you hardcore about it? Where do you kind of fall on the spectrum? Like I said, I'm like, if we're gauging on a scale from 1 to 10, I like to think I'm like maybe around a 7 or something like that. If I'm a little brave, maybe I can do 7 to 5 or 7.5, maybe an 8 on a good day. Probably not so much these days, but I'd be interested to kind of hear what your personal opinions are on it, because, like I said, it's something that it's incredibly subjective, and obviously some people just aren't into it at all. That's perfectly fine. But anyway, bye.